everyone. Welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we're going to be continuing Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 1, Part 4. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. With today's video, we are just one more away from the Season 1 finale of the series, along with the OVA special that's going to be coming out as well. You guys have been doing a really good job with the engagement of this series. A lot of you have really liked it and have been following along week by week. So I hope you'll continue to show that support moving forward as we'll be looking to go into Season 2 and into the Konosuba movie that can be adapted into this series as well. So always remember to send in your likes, your comments, and any suggestions or ideas that you have for the channel, because you never know what might be selected or what might be made going forward into the future. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Madara sat on the couch, watching the fireplace and the embers that danced among the burning wood and stone. Sitting in the back towards the kitchen area of the mansion, Darkness and Megumin played an interesting game of shogi. Everyone was lazing around that day as the missions for the guild were running rather low. There truly wasn't a lot to do in the country of Axel, which Madara was unfortunately starting to see. For someone like him, all this off time, it was, well, off-putting. He was the type of person that wanted action, to get things done, not laze around all day. And everyone else just seemed okay with it, like there wasn't a care in the world. I mean, the whole fate of this world's existence hinged on the Devil King and whatever evil or maniacal things he was up to, and yet people seemed to live their lives without a care in the world. No one was coming up with a plan to try to stop the Devil King. No one was coming up with formations, battle strategy, anything. I mean, anything at all would have been useful, but it was as if no one wanted to do anything at all. Aqua would walk into the room, wanting to demand her spot on the couch where Madara was sitting, but Madara had other things on his mind. As he looked into the fire, he could almost swear that the flames were taking shape of an individual. He could see the curved outline of a female body, the way that the flames danced around like they were long flowing hair, and then the silhouette of a face so familiar. Wiz. No, he couldn't be thinking about Wiz right now. Why would he be thinking about her? Man, is this what Madara missed out on fighting in all those wars? Hormones? Puberty? Well, it's something that everyone goes through, but it's kind of hard to think about love and romance when you're watching everyone that you love and care for die on the battlefield on a daily basis, from friends to family to potential love interest. Madara actually had a love interest. She was a cute girl from the Uchiha clan. Madara thought that maybe they could have a future together, but unfortunately she got ambushed by 5 members of the Senju clan. And, well, when they found her, she was tied to a stake with multiple swords rammed through her body. Safe to say, Madara was not in a forgiving mood at the time, and his anger was a reflection of that. Truthfully, for an Uchiha, love was a double-edged sword. It was one of the more stronger emotions that anyone could ever experience. However, it came with its own tumultuous effects. For you see, When you come to know love, you also come to know hatred. And for Madara, unfortunately, he had now slipped into the former instead of the latter. What was it about her? Her demeanor, her ditzy nature, her attitude to just keep going no matter what life threw at her. There were so many things that Madara could think of, and yet so many times there were more than enough. There were not enough of words for Madara, in a sense. Of course, ultimately, he decided to go for a walk to clear his head. Aqua was just being as annoying as ever, and if they weren't going on a mission, and if they weren't going to fight, then he was going to try to preoccupy his mind doing something else. As he walked through town, everyone seemed fairly peaceable at the moment. There was still a bit of coldness in the air as winter was on its death's doors, as spring was going to be coming on the horizon sooner or later. As he walked through town, he saw two people that he knew from the guild, two adventurers named Keith and Dutch. When they saw him, they quickly waved him over, Madara wanting to ignore them until they eventually caught up with him. Madara wondered what they were up to, snooping around in such a manner, or their half-hearted attempt at doing so. That was until Keith would say that they were doing something a little top secret, and they knew Madara had the ways of getting in and out of places undetected, and they thought maybe they could get his help. Of course, Madara had no intention on doing so at all, but after they promised they'd make it worth his while, and Madara having his curiosity getting the better of him, he decided to see what they had to offer. And that is where Madara found himself where he was now. Inside of a succubus underground tavern of sorts. Safe to say, the succubi did not leave much to the imagination. It wasn't that they were ugly or anything, quite the contrary. It was just that Madara wasn't the type of person to be easily swayed by such things. I mean, the trivial nature of just using sexiness as an attack. Who on earth would do such a thing? The succubi that were assisting Keith and Dutch and Madara would take them to individual booths and explain the procedure of things. I take it you're a newbie, aren't you? You could say that. I didn't think an establishment like this existed. Well, we do try to cater to one's own fantasies and desires. I see. So is this the part where you start shaking your ass and I start handing you money? Well, you certainly do have a way with words now, don't you? I assume you must be a lady killer. Yeah, I've dropped a few bodies in my lifetime. I bet. Well, I am sorry, we succubi don't need that type of monetary donation. We actually use a different form of currency. And what's that? Your vitality, of course. I see. So you're after my vitality. I take it that would be my mana. Just a small dosage. That's all that's required for payment. And what do I get in return? You get a dream. A wonderful dream. Anything you like, anything you could think or fantasize, it's all yours. Where have I heard that before? I take it you've had this procedure? You could say. I know a thing or two about trying to cause an eternal dream. It didn't really go the way I wanted it to, though. Well, you can always have a different dream, sir. For this, you tell us the details of the dream and what you would like, and while you sleep, we give it to you. And that's all you offer. That's all we offer. I promise. Of course, Madara was skeptical of all of this. The idea of getting the perfect dream, the dream of whatever you wanted, it sounded as though it were too good to be true. But then the thought crossed his mind. He started thinking of her. Multiple versions of her. Every version of her. No. Madara couldn't do such a thing. He'd never do such a thing. And yet, why was his hands writing on the contract with the pen? No, he needed to stop himself. This was wrong. This was so wrong. And yet, he signed it in full. He gave the vitality. And now, the deal was done. The succubi would thank Madara for his patronage, and he was free to go home and wait until he fell asleep, and soon he'd have the dream of his lifetime. Of course, Madara wondered if such a dream could even be possible or strong enough to fulfill his satisfactions. He could probably spot any flaw or detail they could make in his dream. There's no way they could make what he wanted exactly to his specifications. It would be impossible. Anyway, he felt like he probably got duped, and since there was nothing to do, he decided to go back home, where darkness would reveal that she had gotten a supply of red marble crab to be enjoyed with everyone as a feast. The crab smelled good. It reminded Madara of the seafood from the Hidden Mist village. They definitely had a thing or two for it. And the crab, it was exquisite. Along with a nice bottle of sake, Madara found himself feeling content? Joyful? As a smirk started to appear on his face, Aqua would be surprised. I never took you as being one that smiled. What are you talking about? You act like me smiling is a rare thing. Of course it is. You're Madara Uchiha. What do you expect? Why does everyone keep saying that about me? You all act as if I'm not normal at all. Of course you're not normal. You're far from normal and you know it. I mean, being relaxed, actually enjoying yourself? Come on, when's the last time you ever actually did this? When was the last time? Madara had to think really hard. He remembered one fateful night. It was a long time ago in Konoha. He sat on top of the mountainous area that would soon become the Hokage faces. He sat beside him, Hashirama Senju, someone who was as equally terrifying as he was gentle. The two were enjoying a bottle of sake, similar to what Madara had now, under the light of the stars and the moon. It was the night before Hashirama's wedding. Hashirama was extremely nervous. He was going to be married to Mito Uzumaki of the Uzumaki clan, a form of unity between the Uzumaki and the Hidden Leaf. What seems to worry you, Hashirama? Oh, it's just... I don't know. I never thought that I'd find myself getting married. I wouldn't call this a marriage, more so than obligation. What do you mean, Madara? You're simply marrying her to have an alliance with the Uzumaki clan, are you not? It's nothing more than that. It's nothing to worry about. I really don't think so. I mean, sure, the unity between the Leaf and the Uzumaki is paramount, but even still, I've gotten a chance to spend time with her, and don't tell me the famed Hashirama Senju is actually starting to catch feelings. We all have feelings, Madara. I'm sure you'll find someone you truly love and care for, and you'll want to settle down with them. Maybe have a family of your own. All of that is nothing but a mere dream for me. The man that wanted those things died a long time ago. Don't say such things, Madara. You keep going on about worrying for others, and that's a great trait to have. To worry about the safety and the happiness of everyone else, to put the needs of many before yourself. It's one of the many traits that I admire about you. But seriously, Madara would look at Hashirama in that moment, as Hashirama was serious. You should take your own happiness into consideration. Madara Uchiha deserves to be happy. The vision would fade, and Madara found himself sitting back at the table with Aqua, Darkness, and Megumin. He smiled to himself briefly as he continued to eat in silence. Maybe. But after everything I've done, Madara thought, someone like me, I don't get to have a happy ending. After dinner, Madara would finish off a bottle of sake before going to the hot springs area of the mansion. He figured a quick soak before he went to sleep would be in order. Besides, he hadn't had a chance to really relax that day the way he wanted to, and after a meal like that, he figured this was a good way to send him off to sleep for whatever he'd be expecting. However, Madara had a few things he didn't account for. For one, that feast and the sake, it was so good that it knocked him out cold. And also, they were going to be having a guest. You see, Madara decided to turn in early that night, but what he didn't know was that Megumin and Darkness had invited a certain someone over. That being Wiz. She enjoyed the feast with everyone else, avoiding death stares from Aqua, as the girls would eventually turn in not too long after. Wiz wanted to try to get a bath, so she decided to go to the hot springs area herself. And as nightfall had come, the candles within the hot springs had blown out, save for the moonlight coming through the window. When Wiz walked into the hot spring with nothing but a towel wrapped around her, she was surprised to find someone was already in the water, Madara slowly stirring as he awoke. Had he really allowed his senses to dull? How long had he been asleep? As he looked and peered through the darkness, he saw her. What? Wiz? Why is she... No. Is this my dream? Madara thought. But there was no way. Madara? Everything seems to be in order, Madara thought. This looks like Wiz, down to the last detail. Even the way her hair curls, it's absolutely perfect. Madara couldn't believe it. Of course, he thought his dream would be a lot different than this, but still, it was her, and she was here. I didn't know you were, It's fine, really. You don't have to go, Madara would say. Wiz wasn't sure of what to do in that moment. I mean, all this was so sudden. I mean, Madara was a nice boy and all, but still, this was pushing things. But even still, she couldn't find herself saying no. The two of them found themselves soaked within the waters, both of them sitting back to one another. Madara, even in his own dream, not being sure of what to do or what to say. The moon looks nice, Wiz would say. Yeah, lovely full moon. If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to leave, Wiz. I don't want you to. I actually want you here. A lot. Really? I mean, yeah. This is probably just a dream for me to say, but even still, I honestly never thought that I'd feel this way again. What do you mean? Truthfully, I'm not as good of a person as many people would think I am. I know I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but even still, deep down I've kind of always held out hope, you know? Hope? Well, hope that my life wouldn't be so bad. I suffered a humiliating loss a long time ago. It's kind of why I'm stuck here in the first place. I see. But it's not all bad, is it? I mean, you've made amazing friends, and the people of this town really like you. And And what? Madara would say nervously. Why was his heart racing at almost 1,000 miles a second? He had faced far worse than this. He fought Hashirama Senju countless times for 24 hours straight, almost to the death. He had never felt pressure then. But why now? Why now of all times could Madara not steal his nerve? I think you're amazing, Madara, Wiz would say. The way that you can fight, the way that you're independent enough to take care of yourself. I know that the girls can be a pain sometimes, and I know that they make you want to tear your hair out, but you're still always there for them. And that's something that I admire about you. Well, I care about them. What? I mean, I would never tell them this out loud, but it's not like I want anything bad to happen to them. I mean, we're a team, and comrades are supposed to stick together. That's how I was raised, and that's how it should always be. And I don't want them to die some pointless death when I could have the power to stop it. I see. Is that why you fight so hard? You could say that. I really hate losing. It's the last thing I ever want to do. And yet all I've ever seemed to do is take loss after loss. Well, I don't think you're a loser. I think the losses you take, they make you stronger. You've become far more than what you could have been, don't you think? Yeah, but it hasn't been easy. I've been knocked all the way back down to 0. Well, I think you can get back up there someday. And I want to see it when you do. The two of them would slowly turn to face one another. Was something forming? For Wiz and Madara, they had no idea, no way of knowing in that moment. Their faces slowly started to get closer. Madara expecting what was going to happen, but he didn't think it would be so soon. He didn't think that things would push this far. I mean, this was still just a dream, but even still, it almost felt like a nightmare. And then there was a scream. Madara immediately jumping up when he heard that it was Darkness, Megumin, and Aqua. Even in my dreams, Madara would say in irritation. Wiz tried to calm him down, but there was no doing it. Madara raced through the halls to see what was going on. Why were they yelling? I mean, this was his dream. How the hell were they even here? And why was there a succubi and a seal on the ground? Madara quickly ran through his deductions. When he felt the floor beneath him, that's when he realized this was not a dream. No. This was real. All of this was real. Then that meant, oh no. Aqua was pretty happy for herself. She caught what she felt was a foul creature, and she was ready to destroy it. However, Madara knew he couldn't let that happen. Immediately, he jumped in between them and the succubi. Believing that he was under some sort of mind control, Aqua was looking forward to destroying it and getting a bit of retribution on Madara. Look here, you spiky-haired emo. I'm not gonna let that foul creature run around here in my mansion unchecked. Now either you move out of the way, or you're about to get dropped by a goddess. And what's a goddess to a non-believer? I'm gonna make you believe. All the girls would ready themselves and take their stances. The succubi even wanting for Madara to flee, to not get caught up in her mess. But Madara didn't move. There were some things in life you just had to fight for. And for Madara, sometimes standing up for what you believed in, it meant you had to stand alone. Safe to say, the fight didn't go long, or, well, I don't know why you would expect it to. Madara ended up wiping the floor with all of them, allowing for the succubi a chance to escape. I mean, come on, it's Madara. What do you expect? But in either regard, was Madara going to admit and tell the truth? Absolutely not. A ninja must learn to see through deception, and sometimes a ninja must learn to be deceptive. And there are other times a ninja must learn to shut the hell up. Which is what Madara did to the full. He wasn't about to let himself get caught up in this nonsense. In either regard, the girls seemed to believe that he was under some sort of mind control, so that was good enough for them. And for Madara, he was able to keep plausible deniability. Although, for Wiz, she actually knew the truth. But, thankfully, it was something she wasn't going to bring up right now. She respected Madara, and she cared about him. And for him to say what he said, she knew it was probably embarrassing, so she was going to leave him his dignity. For Madara, he sat outside of the mansion, watching the clouds drift by. You know, maybe someday, maybe he'd have that type of life that Hashirama had. A family, people that loved and cared for him. Was living a simple life really so bad after all? No, maybe it wasn't. However, action always has a way of finding you. And that's what Madara would learn the hard way. As he rested his head, ready to take a nap, sirens would go off. Attention! Attention all villagers of Axel. The mobile fortress destroyer is on its way. I repeat, destroyer alert. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. What the? Madara shot up as the girls came running out of the mansion in a huff. Madara, did you hear? It's coming! What? What's coming? You don't know? Darkness would say. Megumin would then turn as well. The being that brings nothing but ravaged destruction and chaos. The true bane of this world's existence. The mobile fortress destroyer. In just one step, it'll crush this town. Everyone is going to... No, they're not, Madara would say. He picked up his sword, his Sharingan, blazing a crimson red. This town was not going to be destroyed on his watch. Everyone quickly raced to the guild, as the countdown to destruction loomed upon them. This concludes Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba? Season 1, Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Naruto Polaris, The Fallen Star. What if Hanabi Hyuga was born first? Part 25 of the Momoshiki arc. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.